is a book with Inspire. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body but
Not yours, mine. You got one too?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Right, we're down that road.
It's less painful than having that field. Yeah.
That's what happened.
Doing okay?
Yep. Just doing ribs.
There you go. That ought to be better on the eye. Oh, somebody coming in early today?
Three good squeezes and hold that there. Squeeze for me.
And my father was too close for 32 years.
What kind of shirts we got today?
Well, we were never told that he would make it. And so we got him for 2 years. We were never...
Are you guys ready? Yep. Rolling. Okay.
All right. Welcome everybody. I just want to invite everyone out to our event we're having this weekend, Saturday, July 24th from 7:30 to 2:30, the OBI blood drive, Boots and Badges. It's going to be at the the boathouse, River Sports Boathouse, and we're going to have a bunch of activities there. We're going to have several of our police vehicles, motorcycles, our helicopter. We're going to have a DJ playing live music, and we're going to have free food for everyone. And we would like to invite everyone out. We really want people out to help bring up the numbers for donations. Come out, help save a life. OBI is really looking for a lot of donations to come out, enjoy a good time with the police department, fire department, and OBI. I have Dr. Armitage here. He is the CEO of OBI who would like to say a word, so welcome him.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today to give coverage to an incredible celebration of community unity that we're going to be hosting this weekend, Saturday, down at River Sport. Our sponsors, the Oklahoma City Fire Department, the Police Department, they're stepping up just as they are today. Behind me, you see that they're providing help, hope, healing, and comfort to patients by allowing this blood drive to go on. And if you look at the tapestry behind me of people engaged in doing the right thing, I think that's the kind of celebration that people are going to enjoy if they come down to the River Sport Complex from 7:30 on Saturday morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. We're, of course, very grateful, just as a sidebar, to the media for covering this story. During this pandemic, getting good information has kept us not only informed but safe. And right now we're in the midst of a resurgence of COVID. COVID has been an incredibly difficult journey. It's always creating new challenges. The latest is the Delta variant of the virus. And clearly that's starting to impact our donors. We're losing folks who are feeling ill, or maybe they're quarantined. Our drive sponsors are dropping off because they don't want to expose groups to potential risk, particularly out in the eastern part of our state where the numbers are up. And of course, we have staff who occasionally are going to call in because of either quarantine or maybe they were exposed or sick. So same story, different variant, different day, but COVID keeps making our blood supply unstable because of its ricochet and unexpected impacts. And we're incredibly grateful that we get support from folks like the fire department here in Oklahoma City, the police department, because that's the bedrock on which we have to supply hope, health, healing, and comfort to patients whose delivery is going to go on, labor and delivery, whether or not there's a COVID virus. They're going to have their heart surgery. They're going to get involved in some trauma, probably an accident. They're still going to need blood. So the rock hard support and stability that we get from great groups like our public servants here at the fire department and the police department make a world of difference. And we all know what it means to see heroes. I think from your youngest years, firemen, police officers, firefighters are heroes. They walk the walk, they live their values, they act their values every day, they put others before self, and that's really what the blood drive is about too, in a way. Our association with heroes like that helps us make the message that when you give blood, you're kind of mimicking on that day for that hour that you give blood the same kind of values, the same kind of community support, neighbors helping neighbors, preparing for disasters by having blood on the shelf, not waiting for somebody else to respond to a need, anticipating a need and being the person who recognizes that and walks the walk and comes in and, just like the folks behind me, shares of their personal health to help another who's not feeling as well. Shares of their goodness inside, part of you transported to somebody else who needs that bit of lift. Again, there are plenty of heroes we see. There are wannabe celebrity heroes. There are make-believe Hollywood heroes. There's couch potato, woulda, coulda, shoulda heroes out there. We want the real heroes to take the invitation from people we know walk the walk, the firefighters, the police officers. Come out on Saturday, and we're going to make it even better for you. Not only will you do what happens with every time you donate, where you can feel better about yourself, you can be a healer, you can set an example, you can get another butter, you can celebrate the being good and being around the fellowship of other good people. Well, we're supersizing that on Saturday. So if you want to come out and be a beacon of hope, a beacon of what it means to have a strong community that does the right thing, the fellowship of other people who want to step up and make our community better, we're going to have a throng of people. It's a wonderful event. It's one of our best blood drives of the year. You're going to get to send that signal. People who drive by there and see all those folks gathered, they'll say something amazing is going on here. They'll see the fire truck, they'll see the motorcycle, they'll see the helicopter, and they'll say, I wonder what all that's about. And when they hear it's about a blood drive and about good people stepping up to do the right thing, maybe they take that back into their own lives and say, that's the kind of community I want. I'm going to be part of that, whether it's through blood drives or some other act of goodness that they're inspired by. So it's going to be a beacon down on the river. And then the other thing is, with the trucks and the motorcycles and the helicopters, wouldn't it be great? We know we get lots of kids out there. What about setting the example for the next generation? They're going to have a lifetime memory about going down with mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever it was who took them, and they're going to see what it's like for a community to get behind a great cause and have fun doing it, and maybe that's the spark that makes them a giver in the future. So it's a magical event. You're going to have great food, thank you to the Oklahoma Port Council. You're going to have great giveaways, a custom shirt, as well as some great tickets to the Oklahoma Museum of Science, as well as Frontier City, and Safari Joe's up in Tulsa, a great water park up there. So plenty of fun, plenty of giveaways, all the usual, just supersized and with hopefully a community impact that is memorable and sets us on the right course for the next challenge we face. Thank you. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yep.
How bad is the blood shortage now? Do you see it's getting better, or is it getting worse because of the Delta variant?
It's getting worse because of the Delta variant. Right now, we're really blessed that our emergency appeal a couple of weeks ago, the Oklahoma Standard kicked in. Our other communities in Texas and Arkansas that we serve, people responded. Right now, we're in I would say an adequate supply, but that's razor thin. We're already seeing canceled drives, particularly on the eastern part of the state and in Arkansas. And it only takes a day or two for us to go from, relatively secure to very insecure. And that's been the story of the pandemic for the last 18 months, and really appreciate the coverage you've given us, because our normal playbook has been shot. the reliable drives, the schools, the businesses that we count on to give us that drumbeat of blood donors and blood supply, now it's all syncopated. You know, sometimes we get a good run. We've had a pretty good run after the appeal, but doesn't mean we're going to go without some beat for a little while and end up in a jam. So I would say we're not in an urgent situation today, but we can see getting in trouble with Delta variant because we've been there before. You know, that's a very infectious variant. It's going to impact a lot of the unvaccinated in particular, and those are great blood donors for us. And we could lose them, and we could, as importantly, we could lose the sponsors who give us the spaces, such as today, this wonderful facility to draw people in and make an event. Thank you for a great question.
Who y'all want next? You want Rocky next?
Sure.
Benny or
Rocky.
Thank you.
Yay. You just want me to answer questions, or
Well, why is donating blood important to you?
became important to me after I was told, because I have no memory of the incident or anything like that, but I was told in trauma surgery I had to have 11 units. And if it wasn't for that, I absolutely would not be here. So I can guarantee you my family appreciates that of the 11 units in the first day, and then about a week later I had to have 2 more units. So I'm 13 in a negative that I need to give back at some point. So, but I have to wait. There's so many months after surgeries and stuff like that, you have to wait before you can donate again. But that I've got teenage children, all our parents are still around, all that I would, like I say, I would not be here without that blood donation. So that's what it means to me. I mean, it means my life. So
It maybe helps you realize that how much more it means to not just you, but all those other people that have that.
yes, it would have affected a lot of people, I'm sure, because we had donations and gifts and things from all over the country of people that was concerned about my welfare, of people that I've obviously never met. That there's a lot more people concerned with your well-being than you realize until you're in a situation that you might not be here for. So,
Can you talk about that day and what you responded to? Like how long it took you to recover?
my first memory is I woke up in the hospital 5 days after the crash. That's my first memory. I realized I was in a hospital room, and everything else I had to be told. Everything. Realized that I ran into a stopped car during the escort and flew, I don't know, probably 70 feet through the air and slid across the highway, and there was a paramedic in the procession that had to do CPR at the scene. Is the only reason I made it on the ambulance, and then I was actively bleeding to death on the way to the hospital. So, but then that's where they had to open me up in trauma surgery, like 10 hours, I think, that's what it was, something like that, and that's where I had to have all the units of blood for that. So, because I had some internal injuries that had ruptured some things. And
How would you say like a blood drive like this is going to help you or maybe one of the other officers or something like that in the future if something like that happens again?
just anyone that I had to go to OU for a CT for an instance right after I'd gotten out of rehab, and there was shootings and stabbings coming in that kept jumping me for the CT machine. So there's a need every night, especially for trauma surgery. Besides all the other things that I'm sure that I have no idea what all the other things that people need blood for, but just for the trauma surgery, I can relate to that they can go through a lot of it in a pretty short amount of time. So there's no telling how many of just the people that I have friends here that I've seen here donating here today. There's no telling how many people that could affect.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Can we get just your first and last name for the record?
Rocky Barnes.
Thank you, sir. Glad you're getting better.
Appreciate it.
Who else do you guys want? We've got Benny here from
Yeah, sure. What's it?
Is Dylan available?
John want Benny?
If Benny
Benny
wants,
be great.
if Benny, you want to?
Is there a part of it? Let's just get it.
We good? So the Oklahoma City Fire Department is obviously just honored and thrilled to be a part of this event again. We look forward to this each year. This is something we've done for several years now. And giving blood is just something that's so important to do. It's so easy. It doesn't take much of your time. Most people don't have to look very far to find someone they know who has been on the needing end of blood. We have many firefighters who have been in a situation where they needed blood. Many of you may have a family member or a friend that you know of who has needed blood. So having that blood on hand and a good supply of it and at the ready is so important. This is a wonderful event. The weather looks good for Saturday morning. Come out, bring the family. We will have police vehicles, fire department vehicles there. You'll get to take a ride in the bucket of one of our brand new ladder trucks that the fire department's just received. You'll get to see the police department helicopter. There'll be food and fun and merriment for all. So we just encourage everyone to come out and join us on Saturday for this very worthwhile community event. We thank you for that. Pardon me?
Is it an annual event?
Mm-hmm. This is, I believe, our fourth, is it not? Yeah. Fourth. This is our fourth annual event. So we had a little bit of a lull last year with everything that was going on, but this is our fourth annual event. We're excited to be here again.
This year's more important than like the past years due to the pandemic.
It's important every year. You just never know. All it takes is there could be any number of reasons why the blood supply could be in need of being replenished. So that's something they have to work on continually, and to just be a community partner with the Oklahoma Blood Institute and all of our law enforcement agencies. It's an honor to be able to do that. And it. Thank you.
Thanks, Betty.
He's going to say a couple more.
Another thing I want to mention that I did forget, that there's a lot of things this last year that I obviously would have missed out on. Anniversary, my children's birthdays, just things that you take for granted that I absolutely wouldn't have been around for. So, and I've gone from electric wheelchair to a regular wheelchair to a walker to a cane to now I can start jogging a little bit. There was even a very nice lady, her name was Debbie, at my rehab that told me that I got her off of her antidepressants because of seeing my progress at rehab, that she realized that it wasn't that bad for her and she was actually able to quit taking them for that. So that made me feel pretty good, and because it is fairly easy to feel sorry for yourself when you're immobilized, but then you realize that I'm still here, so it's really not that bad. So thank you.
I think that's it, guys.
Okay, great.
Did y'all get everything you need? All right.
Let me get some shots of people giving blood.
Yeah. You want like some arm shots?
Yeah.
Let me have.
I got a couple from here, but
I'll be sending that.
you're going to send some.
BROLL.
I mean,
That's not to.
I'll get a couple too.
That's not to say you can't. I'm just trying to.
No, I'm going to use your stuff.